Today we're going to be doing intermediate. I'm going to show you traditional grip and I'm going to show you bend. This is Clayton Skinner. Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Beat. Hello there. My name is Clayton Skinner and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Beat. This will be a three-part series dealing with advanced bass drum techniques while playing quarter note hi-hat grooves. So in these videos, I'm going to be showing you how to do what I call pairing, which is when you play two 16th notes, one right after another. Now, if you remember from the 8th note drum groove videos, I explained how they went, you can either go out of the hi-hat, meaning that the first 16th note is played with the hi-hat and the second one is played directly after, or you could be going into the hi-hat, which is when the 16th note is played just before, and then the second note is played right on the hi-hat. The only difference is, in this, we won't be playing 8th notes. So in some of these exercises, there's going to be times where you're going to be going into the hi-hat, but there won't be a hi-hat there. So you're going to have to listen really well and pay attention to what I'm doing, as well as keep an eye on your PDF and just kind of make sure you're doing everything right. So if you look at A on the PDF, you'll notice that the bass drum is coming out of all the quarter notes. It's coming out of the 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s. You have bass drum on 1E, 2E, 3E, 4E. Now remember, there's no and. So it'll be like 1E, 2E, 3E, 4E. Only hit the hi-hat on the quarter notes. So exercise B, we're now going to be going into the hi-hat. So again, the hi-hat only goes on the 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s. In this particular case though, you have bass drums on 1, at 2, at 3, at 4, at 1, at 2, and so on and so forth. So now we're on to exercise 1. Exercise 1 is now going to be a beat, so we're going to be learning the practical side of this. You're going to have two 16th notes going into 3. So it'll go 1, 2, a 3, 4, 1, 2, a 3, 4. Exercise 2, similar with 1, we have the bass drums coming out of 3 again, not going into it. The first bass drum is on 3, the second bass drum is on the E of 3. So it goes 1, 2, 3E, 4. 1, 2, 3E, 4. So exercise 3, we're going to be combining 1 and 2. We have the 16th notes coming out of 1, and then the 16th notes going into 3. So it goes 1E, 2, a 3, 4. 1E, 2, a 3, 4. So the next exercises are going to be a little bit trickier because they're not going to be going into or coming out of any hi-hats. They're going to be going into and coming out of the ands. Now, this is a quarter note hi-hat beat, so there's not going to be any eighth notes involved. So now we're going to have to get the timing down. A good thing to do would be to actually set the metronome to the eighth note, but only play the hi-hats on the quarter note. So it'll go like click, 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 click. And that'll give you kind of a reference point as to where you have to be when you're putting these bass drum hits. So number 4 has the bass drum coming out of the and of 2. So it goes 1, 2, and a 3, 4. And keep going, so on and so forth. So really pay attention to how this is done. And remember, try the metronome trick because it really does work. So let's hope that that wasn't too difficult for you. Number 5 has a similar situation. We're now going to be coming out of the and of 3. So it'll be going like this. 1, 2, 3, and a 4. 1, 2, 3, and a 4. Exercise 6, we're now going to be going into the and of 2. So, again, use the metronome trick and listen to what I'm about to do. It goes 1, 2 E and 3, 4. 1, 2 E and 4. Seven, we're going to be going into the and of 3. So we have 1, 2, 3 E and 4. 1, 2, 3 E and 4. So I hope those weren't too difficult for you. Remember, spend as much time as you can on this. This isn't something that you want to just try a few times, pull off a couple times, and then say, oh, I got it. Should be something that you should be doing each beat, probably about 5 minutes each, at varying tempos. So even if you spend a few weeks doing this and every day just pick a new tempo, that'll really help things out. Another thing I want to make sure is you use a metronome when you're doing this. Don't try to do it by ear. A lot of the times the metronome will actually correct things in ways you have no idea can be corrected. So again, use that technique. But that's all for this episode. Make sure you check out part 2, where I go discuss more advanced techniques for adding bass drum to your quarter note hi-hat grooves. I'll see you there.